Every weekend, Book TV brings you 48 hours of history, biography, and public affairs. Here's a quick look at one of our programs.
Thomas, what do you think about hip-hop now?
Sunk to new lows. The inspiration for this book, I started thinking about the ideas
Sunk to new lows, you say? Whoa.
I do. I started writing this book in, I wrote the op-ed in 2007, and I believe that the dominant artists at the time, not the sole artists, but the artists that were really driving the media coverage of the genre and that were really setting the cultural tone were Soulja Boy and the Dipset. And I think that if you compare that even to like the so-called gangster rappers of the early 90s, or Jay-Z or Biggie, I mean, that's such a decline in artistic quality, let alone even in the message.
So you're cool with Biggie?
I'm not cool with Biggie. I have a lot of problems with Biggie, but I think that he had a lot more complexity than what you see a lot now. I am kind of interested in watching a guy like Drake, but I don't think that one artist guides an entire culture.
So you say it's sunk to new lows. Explain to me why you feel that way. I mean, these are street poets, okay? Why do you feel that they've sunk to new lows if they are expressing their reality?
Well, it's debatable if they're expressing their reality. A lot of them are simply propagating some of the worst stereotypes about black people that have ever existed.
Okay. But if that's their reality, should they be silent?
It's not many of their realities. Some of them do have pretty gritty realities.
Well, there's been a movie about Biggie, and we can clearly see that he rapped about his reality in the street.
No, Biggie was actually a guy who observed some other people's realities more than he rapped about his own. I've lived in the Fort Greene area of Brooklyn for a few years,
okay.
and the part of Clinton Hill that Biggie comes from is quite nice compared to the parts of the rural South where a lot of where it's much nicer than what James Baldwin grew up in. It's much nicer than what Ralph Ellison grew up in, and it was far more affluent than the environment my father grew up in.
I mean, the guy was a drug dealer. Are we going to dispute that?
Yeah, he made choices. I grew up in the suburbs around guys who chose to deal drugs too because it was very cool.
Right. But so
his mother was a school teacher, and
yes,
he didn't have to deal drugs to feed himself.
Right, but that was his choice for.
It was
for
exactly.
Whatever. So let me ask you this: what is good hip hop to you?
Well, I want to be very clear about this. My book is not about music. It's not a critique of the artistic merit of hip hop, which I don't dispute.
Well, let me repeat your title: "Losing My Cool: How a Father's Love and 15,000 Books Beat Hip Hop Culture." Mm-hmm. So
it's about a system of values that the music doesn't create, but it provides a soundtrack to and an echo chamber for it. It magnifies often, and it glorifies and romanticizes these things. But I'm not. A lot of older black critics of hip hop have a problem with hip hop on a musical level and find it inferior to jazz and other forms of black music. That's not my argument whatsoever. I'm trying to attack ideas and cultural values and critique them and talk about what I really see as the secular religion of hip hop, which is it's a way of living. It's even a way of reaching for a cup of water. It's a way of greeting someone in the street. It's a way of dismissing certain ideas as not real. I'm not talking about whether an artist like Andre 3000 has ability, because clearly he does. And I think that the music, I wouldn't even need to critique the culture if the music was trash, because one of the reasons the culture is so powerful and seductive is because the music, the culture is aesthetically pleasing in a lot of ways.
But that's the history of African American music in a sense.
Well, not really. I mean, if you listen to A Love Supreme by John Coltrane, there's really no similarity between that and something like Gucci Mane, the Burr Print too, you know?
Right. So, and I'm a John Coltrane fan.
Me too.
Don't get me, I am. So I want to go back to my question, which I want you to answer directly. What would be good hip hop?
Well, I can list. We could spend the rest of the panel with me listing.
No, we're not
good
going to spend the
hip-hop.
rest of the panel. What
Right.
would be good hip-hop, since you're saying it's sung
Good
to...
hip hop music is like "Reasonable Doubt" by Jay-Z.
Okay.
It's "Ready to Die" by Biggie Smalls. Now, is the content and the message that's involved in some of that great music poison? Yeah, it is. If you try to live your life the way that Jay-Z instructs you to, it will end disastrously for you. You will not fly in a private jet, most likely.
You don't have to wait for the weekend to watch our programs. Watch online at booktv.org and follow us on Twitter.